So I just want to begin by first saying thank you, of course, to the awards committee for bestowing this incredible honor upon me. I'm tremendously appreciative of this recognition, and I'm incredibly excited to be chatting with all of you here today about some of the work that I do in the classroom and how I think that that's helped to promote learning and student engagement. I, of course, wouldn't have got here without all those that came before me, including all of my different mentors at various phases throughout my academic tenure. And so I tremendously appreciate all of the wisdom that they've given me as it relates to teaching. And of course, I'm incredibly thankful for my students who give me the opportunity to come into the classroom each and every day and to share my passion, to share my experience, and to hopefully encourage them to want to pursue their own. Now, as a teacher and a scholar, I've always looked at trying to find new and innovative ways to help inspire students, to help them find their passion for learning. And having taught criminology courses and specifically policing courses for quite some time now, one way I found that I can do that is by blending the classroom with the field, helping students to identify what are the incredibly important overlaps between what we're learning about, what we're talking about, what we're discussing in the safety of the classroom with what's really happening in the real world, what's really happening in our communities, our streets, and our cities, and to really demonstrate to them that why they're learning is to do more than just simply regurgitate material on an exam, but to inform them about what are pressing social issues and equip them with the skills and knowledge that they need to be able to both participate in conversations about these social issues, and most importantly, hopefully one day, work themselves to try and address what are these social issues. And so as part of the short few minutes that I have today, what I wanted to just do was give a couple illustrations of how I've gone about trying to bestow this passion for learning through practice by integrating the classroom with the field through various different avenues of practitioners. As part of my teaching portfolio, I teach both very large lecture courses and quite small intimate courses. And the way in which I go about trying to blend these two varies a little bit depending upon the classroom I happen to be in. When I look at these big lecture courses that I teach, I'm of course limited in the ability of the individual engagement that I might be able to offer between students and professionals. And so what I have traditionally done as part of the in-person offerings of this course is host a series of coordinated panel presentations which bring policing professionals into the classroom to participate in formal Q&A before the students about topics that are immediately related to course content. So for example, what I'll do in week 3, after we've just discussed the important issue of police leadership and the structure of police organizations, is bring in police leaders from across Metro Vancouver, police leaders from different agencies of different backgrounds with different leadership styles to talk to students about the content that they've just learned about from lecture and what they've just read about in their articles. After I talk about the experiences of different police personnel and how those can vary as a function of officer characteristics, I bring in police officers of all different backgrounds, identities, and trajectories to share the raw insight into what got them into the job, what their experiences are like on the job, and again, how those experiences manifest in different ways, including in those that the students now have read about as part of the lecture content. I follow a same format when it comes to talking about frontline operations and the very hands-on, tangible work that police are doing and are being expected to do in our communities. Following each panel, where it's very much structured, given the nature and the size of the class, I allow students opportunities to meet individually with the leaders, with the patrol officers, and with all the guests that happen to come, where they get a chance to ask what are more personal or intimate questions related to both the course and their own professional development. When this class moved online due to the pandemic, I was limited in my ability to host this kind of a panel presentation. And so as mentioned, I introduced a podcast series I went out into the community and found the different types of police officers that I was hoping to bring into the classroom and interviewed them and created audio sound clips that I then integrated into the weekly modules for each of the different course topics, of which students then listened to and responded to as part of weekly discussion boards. A chance to adapt to what was the incredible pressure of online learning, while still offering the opportunity to hear from other perspectives, in this case, perspectives of police, which are naturally not always my own. In my more intimate seminar classes, I'm able to offer a more personalized environment where each week in the final 45 minutes of the seminar period, I invite a community policing professional to come into the classroom to talk about their lived experience and work as a police officer conducting community policing work with all of the students. This really allows them to marry what is the first 2 hours of the seminar of traditional academic content as it relates to the community policing topic of the day, with once again the lived real experience of those who are engaging in community policing work in the field. This practitioner in this case then will join the students as part of large group discussions for the final 20 to 30 minutes of the seminar, where the students can have direct engagement and ask what are the incredibly difficult questions facing police immediately to the practitioners that were joined by as part of the course. In many cases, in both the large and small class formats, I also try to seek out what are alumni of our very own program, given that through my class poll, I find roughly 50% of my students have interest in policing careers. I try to bring what are alumni from our very own program who once sat in our very own classroom seats to the class, so that students also have the opportunity to envision a future of themselves through the lens of our guests, all of whom, of course, completed the very courses of which they're now speaking in front of as part of their guest interview. And so through this work, what I hope to again do is to really be able to instill a message that what we're learning about is much more important than any exam, that it's much bigger than any lecture hall, that it's more important than any grade, and that we're equipping them to go out and have incredibly difficult, hard, but important conversations, debates that will inevitably impact the future of not just the policing institution, but of society writ large. And what I found through this experience is that students very much enjoy this opportunity to bring the classroom and the field together in a way that uniquely allows them to build passion, to build purpose, and to both thrive and succeed in the classroom. So thank you. I know this was very brief, but I'm happy to answer any questions as to the logistical undertakings that it requires to bring this together. And of course, any other related questions that you may have about the instructional format. But thank you again for your time. It's a tremendous honor.